Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And we have some news coming out of Skydance Studios today that I shouldn't say today because this is kind of an amalgamation of things, but Scott Derrickson, who recently left the directing chair for Doctor Strange 2, has been picked up by Skydance to do their film Bermuda, which is a film about the Bermuda Triangle. And reportedly they have Chris Evans kind of lined up to lead. He's basically kind of like it's very heavily rumored, but it just hasn't been confirmed yet. And that's really all we know right now about this movie. Now, for those people that don't know what the Bermuda Triangle is, it's basically this little patch of ocean around the Caribbean that has a lot of unexplained disappearances of ships and aircraft. And there's this whole thing about, how it's cursed or the magnetics don't work right there for whatever reason. And it's like a nexus between realities or some insane shit like that. But it's kind of a more of a legend type of thing, even though it does actually, that's a lot of the disappearances have occurred there. So I mean, it happens, but at the same time, it's going to be magnified to 11 because it's a Hollywood movie. So moving away from that, I think it's an interesting idea for a movie because you don't really see too many about the Bermuda Triangle. That's kind of one of those natural, weird things that kind of gets ignored by movies a lot. Unless it's like a sci-fi original film or something like that, some B television movie that has to do with it. So if you actually put a budget behind it, and you made it kind of interesting, I can see it working. Or if maybe you base it around some actual historical events. Some of the actual disappearances that have happened in the Bermuda Triangle with ships and aircraft, whatever one you decide to go with. I think there's a famous one involving like a whole squadron of old World War II fighter planes that just went missing in there. But yeah, I digress. But it does seem interesting. You're going to have a high-profile guy with Chris Evans taking the lead, again, assuming those very heavily rumored things are true, which, even though it's like 99% he's probably going to get it. It's one of those things like, you just got to kind of wait a minute because things can change. Weird things can happen with casting. And the fact that they got Scott Derrickson in, and he's also going to rewrite the script as well, because there is an existing script for this film that he is going to then rewrite with the help of another person. And with the help of, I should say, co-writer. And they're going to kind of reshape this thing a little bit. And apparently according to Skydance Studios, this whole thing has been kicking around for about, I think, about 10 years. This is kind of a script. I don't want to say this is a script that has been in development hell because I don't think it's been in development hell. I think this is a script that they've just sat on for a very long time. But it is interesting to see them finally pull it out. And I don't know, maybe it has something to do with some other financial issues. And they're like, okay, this is kind of a fun little idea, so let's put this out there. We've had this kind of in the bank for a while. And I think that's something that, a lot of studios need to do, a lot of bigger studios need to do in the future, is go through your script catalogs. Go through. You have warehouses worth of spec scripts before they were strictly digital uploads and stuff like that. Sometimes they do that crap now. The physical copies of it. There's just piles and piles and piles of them, unless they've been throwing them out periodically, which I think maybe some of them have, but probably not all of them. They have interns and you have warehouses. You could just have them search through and pin, and if you find a diamond in the rough that you can produce, something that's actually original, that was written by somebody who wasn't just aping off of somebody else in terms of, or making a sequel, dig something up, find something, and then get somebody with a good creative vision to turn that script into something good. And I think this could be one of those scenarios where this is something good. Again, you could play this a number of ways, actually. This could be a historical drama. This could be, something like in the horror genre, or the disaster genre, or something like that. You can play it up and you can make it into sci-fi or something weird. if you really wanted to. Again, there's really no plot details that have come out about this, other than the fact it's about the Bermuda Triangle and it's called Bermuda. Um, so, I mean, there's a lot kind of floating around there that it could go a number of different directions in terms of the plot and the story. But it is having a good start. Now, what I would be curious about is how long it takes Scott Derrickson to rewrite that script, and if he actually manages to rewrite it and this project, gets up off the ground. Because this movie has already gone through what we can perceive to be at least a few iterations over its life, even though the script has kind of been there. So, if it hasn't been made yet, there's still a likelihood of even though this is a strong likelihood it will get made, there is a likelihood that, things could fall apart and this thing could just wind up getting shelved again. But like I said, this is just, I like the premise of a film like this because it's a little bit of mystery and there's a lot of stuff that we don't know, like why certain things happened. And it's based in something that does exist in reality in a form at least. So that's another interesting thing. But I'd like to see more movies get put together like this with talented people because it can make the film industry kind of rich again. And, I'm not saying this is going to be some kind of a work of art, but it's going to be something that's at least a little bit different. And I do like Scott Derrickson as a director. I like Doctor Strange. Sinister was actually a pretty good movie. So, I mean, he knows how to write horror elements, which I think is why he wound up leaving Doctor Strange 2. I actually did a video on that at the time when it happened. But that, he probably had creative differences with Marvel because he wanted to make a darker film than what they were willing to do. And that's probably the reason why he decided to step away from that film and go out. And I believe he also got offers from Blumhouse to do a film, but he chose to go with this one, which I think is interesting. I think Blumhouse needs to slow it down a bit. They're churning stuff out at breakneck pace. It's like Canon Films all over again. But, that's just my opinion on this, but I want to know what yours is. Do you like the premise of this film? Do you like the premise that, it takes place in the Bermuda Triangle and all this, and Chris Evans and Scott Derrickson Scott Derrickson is attached to direct it, and Chris Evans is rumored to be attached to star in it. But do you like all of that? Do you like all that information? Do you think this could be a good movie moving forward? I want to know what your opinion is, so again, put it in the comments below. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?